now they know it's for the name, the legacy.
I'm going to share something with you that might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from here, and this has been like a therapy session.
This is KUGAN CASSIUS for Eiffel TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. Hello, Eddie.
Hello.
Hello.
Never a dull moment.
Never a dull moment. Right, okay, so I'll kind of give you free rein to kind of explain. Can we start with the bold statement they released about half an hour ago regarding the fight with Benn and Eubank, saying that they won't permit it?
They won't, sorry?
They won't.
Yeah, I mean, as you've seen our statement, the board statement, so there was an adverse finding of a trace substance in one of Conor Benn's VADA tests. Both guys for this fight signed up to various different agencies for testing. Obviously UKAD, which is the British Boxing Board of Control Agency, VADA, which was decided by the fighters to do that. There's been multiple tests by each agency, and the UKAD test, which is the British Boxing Board of Control Agency, that they recognise are all negative. And like I said, there was an adverse finding in the VADA test. The British Boxing Board of Control statement, which was just to say, at the moment, we do not prohibit this bout. It's, Conor Benn is not suspended by the British Boxing Board of Control. There's been no violation at the moment, and he's free to fight. He's cleared to fight with the British Boxing Board of Control. What their statement is actually saying is that we're not sanctioning this fight. There's ongoing conversations with the lawyers and the British Boxing Board of Control. Obviously, we want everyone to be comfortable. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr. are aware of all the information. In fact, Wasserman and Chris Eubank Jr. have looked into the findings and the levels and obviously the substances, have spoke to their doctors at length and are happy to proceed with the bout. That's their decision. But obviously at the moment, the British Boxing Board of Control aren't. So we have to speak with them, deal with the legal situation and see where it lands. And this is quite fresh. Obviously, I don't even think it's 30 minutes. I think it's more like 10 or 15 minutes since that. And, we'll see what rolls on the next few hours.
Eddie, can you let me know, first of all, when your side, as in Team Benn, were alerted to the situation going on regarding this, and also when Team Eubank were alerted to the situation going on?
Yeah, I mean, the answer is at the same time, because when VADA report, they report to everybody. It's not a case of, we instructed this VADA testing, we paid for it, both guys requested it, so everybody gets alerted at the same time. The story this morning broke, obviously, after people were aware of that situation, and Team Eubank have been aware of that situation since we were aware of that situation. That's part of the ongoing process now. With the investigation. It's a difficult situation for the board because the board do not acknowledge VADA testing. You remember when Billy Joe Saunders tested positive for VADA, he was banned by the Massachusetts Commission. The board did not suspend him or ban him because they don't acknowledge VADA. They only acknowledge UKAD, of which Conor Benn has had multiple testing for this fight, and it's all been negative. So there's a lot to digest and go through, and right now obviously the legal teams are speaking with the board. They have to be comfortable as well to obviously sanction the fight, and we'll see how it unfolds.
Eddie, in reference to the actual banned substance, clomiphene, I believe it's pronounced, what is your understanding of why that was in Conor Benn's system?
That's a question that's going to come out obviously in the examinations and the hearings in due course. Conor Benn will be obviously making his own statements. He's very bullish about this situation. As you can imagine, as previous situations where people have actually been found to be not guilty, he wants to go through this process himself. He wants to come here today. He wants to speak to the media, which he'll be doing. At the moment, there's only so much I can say on the situation while it's being dealt with by the lawyers.
Can you not answer why an exemption wasn't applied if that was the case?
Again, this substance, I believe, is listed as not a performance-enhancing drug, certainly to the levels that were found within him. It's something that you can get an exemption for. Sometimes athletes don't do that, forget to do it. It's over to him to deal with the relevant process for that.
As it stands right now, and I'll timestamp this at 2:45 on Wednesday afternoon, would you say that, as it stands, the whole show will be possibly called off this week?
You know, if Eubank Ben wasn't to happen tonight, on Saturday night, then yeah, the show would not take place. But as I said, the British Boxing Board of Control have not suspended Conor Benn. They actually cannot suspend Conor Benn either. So is it a delay to the fight? Is the fight taking place? I mean, ultimately there will be no suspension of Conor Benn because he has passed all UKAD tests for this, which is the governing body and the body that the UKAD the board used to make their decisions. So it's not really one that's the only precedence we have is the Billy Joe Saunders situation, and I can't really give you the answers. Like I said, he's clear to fight right now, but the board obviously have to be comfortable, and we'll see how it progresses.
Are you waiting for a B sample to come back regarding the adverse findings?
That's not going to happen before the fight, and you know, ultimately the board and the lawyers will talk, and it will come down to a decision to see what the process is, what the options are. Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr., they're aware, they've had all the medical advice across the samples and all the information. They want to fight, but ultimately everybody's got to be comfortable with that.
Have you considered the option of using a different board for this weekend, or is there not enough time to be able to do that?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's something that always gets threatened. I respect the British Boxing Board of Control. I think they do a fantastic job. Yes, of course, a different commission could be used, but you know, we would want the board to be comfortable. What they have to analyse here is what is the process moving forward. If you're not going to suspend Conor Benn, which you won't, you can't, there's been precedence for that for the past, why are you not allowing the fight? And therefore, when would you allow the fight? Do you understand? So I guess it's fresh, it's new, and we'll see how it plays out.
Just a couple more. Callis-Allen had said that Eubank and Benn had spoken about the fight going ahead. Right, so Eubank he quote tweeted your statement with Wasserman with a hand over the face. So what's his take on this whole situation?
Well, obviously he's frustrated because you know he's been made aware of the situation. He's confirmed he wants the fight to go ahead. He's taken medical advice. He's been provided with all the information, and obviously he's probably thinking now, looks like the fight won't go ahead. So he'll be here, Calla will be here to answer all the questions. Conor Benn and Chris Eubank have spoken about this, and you know, Eubank was happy to proceed with the bout.
Okay, and just the last one, at what point are we going to find out, or are you going to find out, what the situation
Saturday
is?
Morning? Saturday, I don't know. Look,
it's not going to run past today though, is it?
We all want clarity, and I can't give you the answers right now. But so you're going to have to let it play out and see where we go.
Right, I know you've got a string of people waiting to speak to you. Appreciate your time, and please keep us updated.
Will do, thank you.
Step up. Apparently every fight's been a step up. I do the talk, make the noise, and give them the theatre, but then I put it on mute. I have always been seen in the wake, but it's time they've woken up. Now they know it's for the name, the legacy.
I'm going to share something with you. That might put me in a very negative light, yeah.
Relationships are not my forte.
See if someone grabbed up my wife or something, completely different ballgame.
I'll walk away from it, and this has been like a therapy session.